Jake Morrison walked into the giant hall where the Galactic Council met every month to discuss important matters across the galaxy. The hall was huge and made of shiny metal that reflected light from 47 different suns through massive windows. Representatives from 47 alien species sat in curved rows that went up toward the ceiling like steps in a stadium. Each species looked very different from the others, and Jake could smell the strange mix of different atmospheres that each group needed to breathe. Jake represented Earth and all human colonies in this meeting. He wore a simple blue uniform that marked him as an ambassador from humanity. Behind him walked Dr. Lisa Clark, who knew more about human genetics than anyone else alive. She carried a small device that held all the data about human genetic research from the past 50 years. The Zenthari counselor named Veltar stood up from his seat in the front row. His body looked like it was made of living crystal that changed colors when light hit it. When he spoke, his voice sounded like wind chimes in a storm. All the other aliens became quiet and turned to listen to what he had to say. The humans have broken the genetic purity accords that all species signed when they joined our council, Veltar announced. His crystal body turned red with anger as he spoke. They have been changing their own DNA without asking permission from this council first. Large screens appeared in the air above the council members. The screens showed pictures and videos of human research labs on Earth and other human worlds. Jake watched as images of human scientists working with genetic equipment filled the space around him. The screens showed humans who looked stronger and healthier than normal humans. Some had better muscles, and others seemed to think faster than regular people. A reptile-like alien named Rexani hissed from her seat near the center of the hall. Her green scales made scratching sounds when she moved. These changes threaten the natural order that has kept peace in our galaxy for thousands of years, she said. Humans must stop all genetic enhancement programs right now and let this council control all their research. The representative from the insect species made clicking sounds that meant disapproval. The clicking got louder and more angry as other insect creatures joined in from their section of the hall. Through their translator devices, they said, "Enhancement leads to feelings of being better than others, and we have seen this destroy entire species before." Dr. Lisa Clark stepped forward and cleared her throat to get attention. She was not afraid, even though she stood before the most powerful beings in the galaxy. Honored counselors, these treatments cure diseases that have killed millions of humans for thousands of years, she said in a calm voice. We are not making weapons or trying to hurt anyone, and we are only trying to save the lives of our people. A blob-like creature that spoke for the collective mind species gurgled something that the translators changed into words. Genetic purity must be maintained, and each species must stay as nature made them, or chaos will follow. Jake looked around the hall and saw that most of the alien faces showed fear and disgust when they looked at the pictures of enhanced humans. He realized that the council had already decided what they wanted to do before this meeting even started. The vote they were about to take was just for show. One by one, each species voted to force humanity to stop all genetic research. The vote was 46-1, with only humans voting against the decision. Even species that had been friendly to humans before voted against them. Jake felt disappointed, but not surprised. Veltar's crystal body turned bright blue as he announced the final decision. Humanity will halt all genetic enhancement programs immediately and submit to council regulation of all future research or face complete expulsion from the galactic community. The words hit Jake like a punch to the stomach. Being expelled from the galactic community would mean losing access to alien technology, trade routes, and scientific knowledge. It would mean humanity would be alone in a galaxy full of species that now saw them as dangerous. Dr. Clark looked at Jake with worry in her eyes. She knew that stopping their genetic research would mean watching humans die from diseases they could easily cure. It would mean giving up all the progress they had made in making human life better and longer. Jake took a deep breath and looked directly at Veltar. "We need time to consider your ultimatum and discuss this decision with our government on Earth. You have 30 standard days to give us your answer," Veltar replied. His crystal body had turned cold gray, which meant the discussion was over. "If humans do not agree to stop their genetic programs and accept Council oversight, then you will be banned from all Council space and lose all the benefits of membership." Jake nodded and turned to leave with Dr. Clark following behind him. As they walked out of the Great Hall, Jake could hear the aliens talking excitedly about what would happen next. Some sounded happy that humans might be forced to give up their genetic research, while others seemed worried about losing human friendship and trade. The door closed behind them with a sound like thunder. President Karen Walsh sat in the emergency meeting room deep inside the Global Defense Center in Washington. The room had no windows because it was built far underground to protect it from attacks. Bright lights made everything look sharp and clear. Around the long metal table sat the most important leaders from Earth and all the human colonies in space. Jake Morrison had returned from the Alien Council meeting just 2 hours ago. His face looked tired and angry as he told everyone what the aliens had demanded. Dr. Lisa Clark sat next to him with her hands folded on the table. She had brought all her research data to show the other leaders. "The aliens want us to stop all genetic research and let them control our science," Jake said. "If we refuse, they will kick us out of the galactic community completely." General Pete Harrison was a big man with gray hair and scars on his face from old battles. He had been enhanced with stronger muscles and faster reflexes 10 years ago. "What do our people think about this demand?" he asked in his deep voice. A woman with short black hair named Director Amy Foster stood up. She ran the government office that asked citizens what they thought about important decisions. "We asked people on Earth and all our colonies what they wanted us to do," she said. 93% of humans said no to the alien demands, and they want us to leave the galactic community instead of giving up our genetic research. Dr. Clark opened her small computer and showed charts and pictures on the wall screen. "Our genetic treatments have completely eliminated cancer from the human population," she explained. "We have made human lifespans reach 150 years instead of 80 years, and we have increased human intelligence by 30%. On average, Admiral Susan Grant appeared on a screen from her base on the moon. Her enhancement surgery had given her better vision and faster thinking that helped her command space fleets. My enhanced crews are performing better than alien crews in every test we do, she reported. Human reaction times are twice as fast as aliens, and our problem-solving abilities are much better, and our physical strength and endurance are superior. President Walsh studied the reports in front of her. Each page showed how much human genetic enhancement had improved life for everyone. Diseases that had killed people for thousands of years were now just bad memories. Humans could work longer and think clearer and live much longer lives than ever before. What would happen if we left the Council? President Walsh asked. What would we lose? Foreign Secretary Ron Bailey looked worried as he answered. We would lose access to their trade networks that connect thousands of worlds, and we would not be able to use their scientific databases anymore, and we could not visit their worlds or work with their companies. Jake leaned forward in his chair. But there is something important the aliens do not understand about us, he said. Our enhanced population is already better than their technology in many areas, and we are advancing much faster than they are. Dr. Clark nodded and pulled up more data. Human-enhanced scientists are making discoveries every week that alien scientists have not made in hundreds of years, she said. We are creating new medicines and new machines and new ways to travel in space that are far beyond anything the aliens have. General Harrison stood up and walked to the big map of human space that covered one wall. Red dots showed Earth and all, the human colonies. Blue lines connected them to show trade routes and communication links. "The aliens are afraid of us," he said. "Not because we want to hurt them, but because we are getting better faster than they ever did." "How fast are we advancing compared to them?" President Walsh asked. Dr. Clark smiled for the first time during the meeting. "In the past 50 years, humans have made more scientific progress than most alien species made in their last 1,000 years," she said. "Our enhancement programs have made us not just healthier and stronger, but also much smarter and more creative." Admiral Grant spoke from the moon base screen. "My intelligence reports show that alien military forces are worried about human capabilities," she said. "They know that enhanced human soldiers and pilots are much better than their own forces." President Walsh stood up and looked around the table at all the leaders. Each person in the room had been genetically enhanced in some way. They were all smarter and stronger and healthier than humans had ever been before. They represented the best that humanity had become. "The aliens want us to go back to being weak and sick and dying young," she said. "They want us to watch our children suffer from diseases we can easily cure, and they want us to accept being less than we can be." Jake nodded strongly. "The other alien species have not changed or improved themselves for centuries," he said. "They are exactly the same as they were 1,000 years ago, and they want us to be the same, and they are afraid that we will become too much better than them." "What about the aliens who have been friendly to us?" asked Secretary Bailey. "Some of them have been good trading partners and allies." Dr. Clark pulled up information about alien species that worked well with humans. "Even our alien friends voted against us in the council," she said. "They are all afraid of human genetic enhancement, even the ones who liked us before." General Harrison returned to his seat. "If we stay in the council, we have to stop all our medical research and genetic improvements," he said. "Millions of humans will die from diseases we could have cured, and our children will not be able to have the enhancements that make life so much better." President Walsh made her decision. The choice was clear when she thought about it. Humanity had worked too hard and come too far to give up their progress now. "Then we give the aliens their answer," she said in a strong voice. "Humanity will not be held back by species that are afraid of improvement and progress." The room became completely quiet. Everyone knew this meant humanity would leave the galactic community and face the universe alone. But they also knew that enhanced humans were strong enough and smart enough to build their own future without alien help. The news spread across human space faster than light itself. Within hours of President Walsh announcing that humanity would leave the Galactic Council, every human colony and space station began preparing for the biggest move in human history. The Independence Protocol had been planned in secret for years just in case something like this happened. Captain Amy Stewart stood on the bridge of the massive colony ship New Horizon as it approached Kepler Station. The station was huge and shaped like a wheel that spun slowly in space. Half the people living there were human, and half were aliens from different species. Amy had been chosen to lead the evacuation because her genetic enhancements made her perfect for the job. Her enhanced brain could process information much faster than normal humans. She could think about dozens of complex problems at the same time and find solutions quickly. Her improved memory let her remember every detail about the 12,000 humans who lived on Kepler Station. Her enhanced coordination helped her control the big ship with movements that were smooth and precise. All human citizens living on Kepler Station must prepare to leave within 90 days, Amy announced over the communication system. "We are offering free transportation to any human who wants to return to human-controlled space, and we will help you move all your belongings and equipment." The alien residents of Kepler Station watched with growing worry as human workers began packing up their lives. The humans moved with incredible efficiency that seemed almost magical to the aliens who were used to much slower ways of doing things. What normally took alien workers several days to accomplish, the enhanced humans finished in just a few hours. On the main docking level, a human named Joe Martinez supervised the loading of cargo ships. His enhanced strength let him lift heavy containers that usually required machines to move. His improved endurance meant he could work for 20 hours without getting tired. Other enhanced humans worked with him, and together they moved massive amounts of equipment with perfect coordination. The aliens watched in amazement as humans took apart entire factories and loaded them onto ships piece by piece. Manufacturing equipment that had been built into the station walls was carefully removed and packed for transport. The humans worked so fast and so well together that it looked like a carefully planned dance. Dr. Kevin Yang ran the medical center on Kepler Station. His enhanced intelligence had made him one of the best doctors in the galaxy. As he packed up his medical equipment, he felt sad about leaving behind the alien patients he had been treating. Many of them had diseases that only human medicine could cure. "Doctor, please do not go," begged a Zenthari patient whose crystal body was cracked and dim. "Your treatments are the only thing keeping me alive." Kevin looked at the alien with sympathy but shook his head. "I am sorry, but my government has ordered all humans to return home, and the Council has made it clear that they do not want human medical help anymore." On the agricultural world of New Eden, farmer Joe Collins was harvesting crops that would feed millions of people. His enhanced body let him work in the hot sun all day without getting tired. His improved brain helped him figure out the best ways to grow food in soil that had been difficult for the previous alien farmers to use. The crops that Joe and other human farmers grew on New Eden produced 3 times more food than the aliens had ever managed to grow on the same land. The enhanced humans had found ways to make plants grow bigger and stronger and more nutritious than ever before. "They are taking all the food production equipment," reported a nervous alien observer to the Galactic Council. "The humans have increased crop yields beyond anything we thought possible, and now they are leaving with all their knowledge." In research stations across Council space, human scientists were packing up their work. Dr. Linda White had been working on a cure for a genetic disease that affected 17 different alien species. Her enhanced intelligence had brought her close to solving a problem that alien scientists had worked on for hundreds of years without success. "Should we leave our research data for the aliens to continue our work?" asked her assistant, Dr. Paul Green. Linda looked at the files that contained years of research that could save millions of alien lives. "The Council voted to reject human science," she said sadly. "They made their choice and they do not want our help." The evacuation ships that came to collect humans were marvels of human engineering. They were sleek and fast and efficient in ways that made alien ships look primitive by comparison. The enhanced human crews operated their ships with perfect teamwork and incredible skill. Commander Dan Walsh led one of the largest evacuation fleets as it moved from station to station collecting human citizens. His enhanced reflexes and improved coordination made him one of the best ship commanders in human space. His sister, President Walsh, had personally chosen him to oversee the withdrawal from Council territory. "All human assets must be removed," Dan announced to his fleet captains. "We take everything we built and everything we improved, and we leave nothing useful behind." The aliens began to realize that humans had been quietly holding their civilization together in ways they had never understood. Human engineers maintained life support systems that kept space stations running. Human negotiators solved trade disputes between alien species who could not agree on anything. Human doctors treated diseases that alien medicine could not cure. As the last human transport ships prepared to leave each station, the aliens left behind discovered how much they had depended on human knowledge and skill. Computer systems that humans had designed began to fail without human technicians to fix them. Trade agreements that human lawyers had written became impossible to understand when disputes arose. The great human exodus was not just the loss of one species from the galactic community, but it was the removal of the most capable and innovative people the galaxy had ever known. The massive human evacuation fleets moved through space like a river of light, carrying an entire civilization away from the Galactic Council forever. Hundreds of ships of all sizes traveled together in perfect formation, guided by enhanced human crews whose abilities made them seem like they could read each other's minds. The ships themselves were beautiful and advanced with smooth curves and bright hulls that reflected starlight. Commander Dan Walsh stood on the bridge of his flagship as it led the largest evacuation convoy away from Sanctuary Station. The station had been the biggest trading hub in this part of the galaxy where humans and aliens had worked together for decades. Now, Dan was taking every human away from the place that had been like a second home to many of them. His enhanced vision let him see details on the scanner screens that normal humans would miss. His improved reflexes helped him make quick decisions, as hundreds of ships moved in complex patterns around the station. His genetic modifications had made his brain work faster and better, so he could coordinate the massive evacuation without making mistakes. "All human citizens and assets are secured," reported Captain Lisa Adams from one of the cargo ships. "We have recovered 97% of human-owned equipment and property." Through the bridge windows, Dan could see alien ships watching the human convoy from a safe distance. The aliens seemed scared and confused as they watched the humans leave. Many alien traders had become rich by working with humans, and now they were losing their best business partners. On Sanctuary Station, the alien traders were already feeling the economic disaster that was coming. A Zenthari merchant named Kelvoth tried desperately to contact the human ships, but got no response. His crystal body had turned dark blue with worry because 47% of his business had been with human companies. "The humans bought 60% of all goods sold on this station," Kelvoth told other alien merchants. "Without them, most of our businesses will fail within a few months." The truth was that human trade had been keeping many alien economies alive. Humans were the best customers because their enhanced intelligence helped them create wealth faster than any other species. They bought more goods and paid better prices and always honored their contracts. Dr. Emily Foster worked frantically in her laboratory on Research Station Alpha as human evacuation ships approached. She had been studying alien diseases for 15 years and had found cures for genetic problems that alien scientists thought were impossible to solve. Her enhanced brain had let her understand alien biology in ways that even the aliens themselves could not. "We should destroy our research files," suggested her assistant, Dr. Kevin Yang. "The aliens do not deserve our help after voting against us." Emily looked at her computer files that contained cures for diseases affecting 17 different alien species. Some of the diseases were slowly killing entire populations, and only human medicine could save them. "No, we will take our research with us," she decided. "Maybe someday they will ask for our help and actually be grateful for it." Meanwhile, on the Energy Research Station orbiting the star Proxima Centauri, physicist Dr. Alan Price was completing the final human experiment in Council space. His team had been close to solving the energy crisis that affected most alien civilizations. Their enhanced minds had found ways to generate power that alien scientists had never imagined. "Sir, the evacuation ships will be here in 6 hours," reported his assistant, Dr. Nancy Hill. "Should we share our energy research with the aliens before we leave?" Alan looked at the data that could revolutionize power generation across the galaxy. "The Council said they did not want human science," he replied. "They can solve their own energy problems." As human ships departed from each station and planet the aliens left behind began to understand what they were losing. Human maintenance crews had been keeping complex systems running smoothly. Human software engineers had designed computer programs that made everything work better. Human managers had organized operations so efficiently that productivity had increased by huge amounts. On the mining world of Kepler-7, the alien workers watched human engineers pack up the mining equipment that had increased ore production by 300%. The humans had found ways to extract valuable minerals from rock that aliens thought was worthless. Without human technology and knowledge, the mining operation would return to the slow, inefficient methods that aliens had used for centuries. The human colony ship Aurora carried 15,000 people away from the research world of New Geneva. Captain Bob Miller had been enhanced with improved coordination and faster thinking that made him perfect for commanding large ships. As his ship left orbit, he could see the research facilities that humans had built becoming dark and empty. Thus, aliens will realize their mistake, predicted Dr. Sarah Watson, who sat next to the captain on the bridge. But by then it will be too late to fix the damage they have done. The human departure was not just about moving people and equipment from one place to another, but it was about removing the most advanced and capable minds from galactic civilization. Enhanced humans had been quietly solving problems and improving systems and making life better for everyone in the galaxy. Human doctors had been curing diseases that alien medicine could not treat. Human engineers had been designing machines that worked better than anything aliens could build. Human negotiators had been preventing wars between alien species who hated each other. Human farmers had been growing food that fed billions of aliens on worlds where crops had failed before. As the last human transport disappeared into hyperspace heading for free human territory, the aliens began to understand that they had not just lost trading partners or research colleagues, but they had lost the people who had been holding their civilization together. The enhanced humans were not just another species in the galactic community, but they had become the most important species for keeping peace and prosperity in the galaxy. The great human exodus left behind a galaxy that was suddenly much less capable and much more dangerous than it had been before. 6 months after the last human ship had disappeared from Council space, the Galactic Council faced the worst crisis in their recorded history. The great hall where they met looked different now, with many empty seats where species representatives had once sat. Some species had collapsed into civil war without human peacekeepers to mediate their disputes, while others had simply gone quiet and stopped communicating with the outside galaxy. Counselor Veltar sat in his crystal chair, looking much dimmer than before. His once bright and colorful crystal body had turned gray and dull with stress and worry. Around him, the other surviving council members looked equally defeated as they listened to reports of disaster from across their territories. Agricultural production on the rim worlds has dropped by 60%, reported the Terrian delegate, whose plant-like body was wilted and brown. Human farming techniques were feeding populations that we can no longer sustain, and millions of people are now facing starvation. The insectoid hive mind representative made weak clicking sounds through its translator device. Our collective efficiency has decreased by 47% without human organizational methods, and our queens are experiencing distress that we have never known before. Trade routes that had operated smoothly for hundreds of years were now breaking down completely. Ships carrying goods between alien worlds were getting lost or attacked because human navigators were no longer available to guide them safely. Alien captains who had depended on human-made navigation computers found that their systems were failing without human technicians to maintain them. On the industrial world of Gamma Station, alien workers struggled to operate factories that humans had designed and built. The enhanced humans had created manufacturing processes that were so advanced and efficient that regular aliens could not understand how they worked. Production rates had fallen to less than 20% of what they had been when humans were running the operations. "We cannot figure out how the human machines work," complained the alien factory supervisor to the council. "Their technology is too complex for us to understand, and everything is breaking down." Dr. Zixtal was the smartest scientist that the Zenthari species had ever produced, but even his advanced crystal mind could not solve the problems that humans had handled easily. He stood before the council holding data tablets that showed the true extent of human contributions to galactic civilization. "Our analysis of human genetic modifications reveals something disturbing," Dr. Zixtal announced. His crystal body flickered with confused colors as he spoke. The humans were not creating superior warriors or trying to build an army to conquer us, and they were optimizing themselves for cooperation and empathy and intelligence. The revelation hit the council members like a physical blow. They had feared that human genetic enhancement would create monsters who would dominate and destroy other species. Instead, the humans had made themselves better at helping others and working together and solving problems peacefully. They enhanced their capacity for civilization itself, Dr. Zixtal continued. Every modification they made to their DNA was designed to make them more capable of building peaceful and prosperous societies. Counselor Rexani hissed softly as she realized the terrible mistake they had made. We thought they were becoming dangerous, but they were actually becoming more helpful. The economic reports were even worse than the social problems. Galactic trade had collapsed by 80% because human companies had been the biggest buyers and sellers in most markets. Human currency had been stable and reliable, while alien money systems were chaotic and unpredictable. Human banks were lending money to fund development projects across the galaxy, reported the economic advisor to the council. Without human financial support, most infrastructure projects have stopped, and many worlds cannot pay for basic services. The military situation was becoming desperate as well. Several border conflicts had erupted into full wars because human diplomats were no longer available to negotiate peaceful solutions. Human peacekeeping forces had been preventing violence between species that had hated each other for centuries. The Corvan Empire and the Thel Confederacy have declared war on each other, reported the military intelligence officer. Human mediators had kept them at peace for 50 years, but now they are fighting over mining rights in the disputed zone. Medical disasters were spreading across alien worlds as diseases that human doctors had been treating began to kill people again. Human medical technology had been so advanced that many alien species had become completely dependent on it to survive. The genetic plague on Raxus Prime has returned, reported the medical officer. Human doctors had developed a treatment that kept it under control, but now the disease is spreading again, and we do not know how to stop it. Food shortages were causing riots on dozens of worlds where human agricultural experts had been improving crop yields. The enhanced humans had found ways to grow food in hostile environments and on planets where aliens had never been able to farm successfully. Counselor Veltar looked around the nearly empty council hall and saw the faces of species leaders who were desperate and afraid. "We must contact the humans immediately," he said in a voice that sounded like breaking glass. "We must offer them anything they want to come back and help us." But Counselor Rexani shook her scaled head sadly. "Our intelligence reports indicate that human colonies outside our territory are thriving beyond anything we can imagine, and they are advancing technologically faster than ever before, and they are building new trade networks that do not include us." The truth was becoming clear to everyone in the hall. The galaxy needed humanity much more than humanity needed the galaxy. The enhanced humans had become so capable and so advanced that they could build their own civilization that was better than anything the Council species could create. "They are terraforming dead worlds and turning them into gardens," reported the intelligence officer. "They are establishing colonies on planets that we thought were uninhabitable, and their technology is advancing so fast that our scientists cannot even understand their basic principles." The council members sat in stunned silence as they realized that their greatest fear had come true, but not in the way they had expected. Humanity had indeed become superior to all other species in the galaxy, but they had used their superiority to help others rather than to conquer them. 1 year after the Great Human Exodus, Ambassador Jake Morrison returned to the Galactic Council chamber, but now he came as a representative of the Independent Human Colonial Alliance. The council hall looked much smaller and sadder than before, with only 23 species still attending meetings. Many seats were empty, because several alien civilizations had collapsed completely without human support. Jake wore a new uniform that was silver and blue with the symbol of the Human Colonial Alliance on his chest. Behind him walked Dr. Lisa Clark, who now held the title of Chief Enhancement Officer for the human government. Her latest genetic modifications had increased human intelligence by another 20%, and her research team had developed enhancement packages that could help other species if they were willing to change their old beliefs. The remaining alien representatives looked tired and desperate as they watched Jake walk to the speaking platform. Their once proud civilizations were struggling to survive the disasters that had followed the human departure. Food shortages and economic collapse and medical emergencies had made their lives much harder than before. Counselor Veltar's crystal body was now completely gray and dim. He had aged rapidly during the year of crisis that followed the human exodus. When he spoke, his voice sounded weak and broken like wind through broken glass. "Ambassador Morrison, we are grateful that you have returned to speak with us," Veltar said. "We hope that humanity will consider rejoining the galactic community." Jake looked around the half-empty hall and felt sad for the aliens who had made such a terrible mistake. "The Human Colonial Alliance comes bearing an offer of limited assistance," he announced. "We can provide humanitarian aid for species facing starvation and medical help for genetic diseases and technological consultation services." The alien representatives leaned forward eagerly in their seats. After a year of disasters and failures, they were desperate for any help that humans might offer. Even the proud species that had voted most strongly against humanity now looked humble and defeated. "What do you want in return?" asked Counselor Rexani, whose scaled body looked thin and weak from stress. Jake smiled slightly as he delivered the terms that the Human Colonial Alliance had approved. "Recognition of human independence and non-interference in our genetic enhancement programs and acknowledgement that the Genetic Purity Accords do not apply to human space." The terms were actually much more generous than the Council deserved, and everyone in the hall knew it. The humans could have demanded tribute or territory or complete submission, but instead they were offering to help the same aliens who had tried to cripple human civilization. President Karen Walsh appeared on a large screen above the council floor. She was broadcasting from New Earth, which had become the capital world of human space beyond council territory. Her enhanced appearance made her look younger and healthier than she had a year before. "The Human Colonial Alliance has learned to thrive without the Galactic Council," President Walsh announced. "We have established trade networks with species beyond council space, and we have terraformed 12 new worlds, and our technology advances every day." The alien representatives whispered among themselves as they realized how much humanity had achieved in just 1 year of independence. While their own civilizations had been falling apart, the humans had been building something new and better. "We offer this assistance because we believe in helping others even when they have wronged us," President Walsh continued. "But the offer expires in 30 days, and after that humanity will focus entirely on our own expansion and development." Dr. Clark stepped forward and activated a holographic display that showed human achievements during their year of independence. The images were stunning and showed cities being built on dead planets and new technologies that seemed almost magical in their capabilities. "Human enhancement programs have continued to advance," Dr. Clark explained. "We have eliminated aging from the human population and increased average lifespan to 200 years. And our cognitive improvements now allow humans to process information at rates that were previously impossible." The aliens stared at the holographic displays with a mixture of awe and fear. The enhanced humans had become something far beyond what any council species had ever achieved. Their technology was so advanced that it made alien science look primitive by comparison. A new species representative, named Keldor, spoke for the first time since the meeting began. His people had joined the council after the humans left, and they had never seen enhanced humans before. "Are these beings still the same humans that once lived among us?" he asked in wonder. "They are what we chose to become instead of staying, limited by fear. Jake replied. "We are still human, but we are the best version of humanity that we could create." Counselor Veltar struggled to stand up from his chair. His crystal body was so dim now that it was hard to see him clearly. "We called. You dangerous for improving yourselves," he said quietly. "But the real danger was our own fear of being left behind." Jake nodded sadly as he looked at the broken alien who had once seemed so powerful and threatening. "You had the chance to evolve alongside us," he said. "Instead, you chose stagnation and called it purity." The council members knew they had no choice but to accept humanity's generous offer. Their civilizations were collapsing and millions of their people were dying from problems that humans could easily solve. Pride was a luxury they could no longer afford. "We accept your terms," Veltar announced in a voice that was barely audible. "We recognize human independence and we will not interfere with your genetic programs." Jake felt no satisfaction in the alien defeat. He had hoped for cooperation and friendship, but the aliens had chosen fear instead. "The enhanced humans are no longer just another species in the galaxy," he said as he prepared to leave. "We have become something new and something better despite your efforts to stop us." As Jake and Dr. Clark walked out of the council hall, the aliens watched them go with the knowledge that they had lost the greatest opportunity in galactic history. They had been offered the chance to become better than they were, but they had chosen to remain the same, and now they would always be inferior to what humanity had become.